one of the things I feel like is that making mistakes, doing things that you're not supposed to do, are actually sometimes the best way to learn. They're the best way to learn. And some of these videos that we make sometimes with like, don't do this, or you're doing it wrong, do it like this. I feel like sometimes that is just such a bad way to translate. I know it's kind of thumbnails and it's kind of like clickbaits and stuff like that, which makes you click on the video. It's all good, I understand that. But I kind of just really want to put this down as an information, like do whatever the hell you feel like. You should make mistakes. You should go the wrong way, because doing those mistakes is what certifies you into that mistake. You will learn from that mistake. You will understand that these two pieces just cannot work together. They don't work together. And if you've never done that, you wouldn't understand why they don't work together. So that mistake that you are so trying to avoid is actually teaching you the reasons behind those two pieces not fitting. So you should make mistakes. It's really important. And the beauty of it is that sometimes it does work, all right? And people on YouTube telling you not to do certain things, me included, we all take a bit of this fault, telling you not to do things, but sometimes it works for you because you have a specific thing that you are after. And for some reason, that will work for you. Okay, so this idea, listening to YouTube, or sometimes it's great. You learn a lot. You take a lot from us. I take a lot from other YouTubers. But it's always tricky, all right? Don't ever take our word as God's word, let's say, all right? You should make mistakes. Whenever I make my videos, I try to, as much as I can, tell people, like, I do it this way, but it might not work for you. And I don't like to tell people that you're doing it wrong. Don't do it like this, do it like this. I try to avoid that as much as possible, okay? And I'm saying this because I have a session today with one of my Patreons. We're going to talk about chops, how I use my chops, how I do all of this stuff. And I'm always a little bit, I'm not afraid, but I'm always a bit skeptic into showing people things, and kind of, I always make it sound like it's a great thing, because it is a great thing for me, the way I make music, but it might not be great for you, right? And I'm always like a bit skeptic sometimes when I share all this information, because sometimes people try to go down a road which they shouldn't go by just copying other people. And, copying is something that I don't like. I mean, to an extent, if you're trying to copy something to learn, that's okay. But if you're kind of like blind just because you want to do it that way and you're not actually feeling it, then I feel like it's a wrong thing. But what I really would love people to do is to follow their own instincts, because that's what I've been doing all along. Even though I do take information from other people, I've always kind of had my own thoughts about how to do things and pursue that. And that's what I feel people should do. You should pursue what you have inside of your mind, even if you think that that goes against a rule that someone set up in the industry or something like that. You should go after that, I make beats with small little cuts. That's what I'm going to be talking about today with one of my Patreons. But he might love actually working with loops. And I don't want to discourage him from doing that, because it's not important what I like. It's important what you have inside of your mind and what you love doing. You got to be excited about what you are doing and not so much follow what other YouTuber or whatever is doing. You understand that? Like, I feel it's way more important that you feel excited about your work, instead of like, oh, let me see how he does it so I can do it his way. Most likely, the way I do it will not fit what you are after. Because like all these pieces that I put together to make my sound work, I've gathered these pieces along the years, just by trying and going through all these errors and doing a bunch of stuff that didn't work. All these pieces that I now put together work for me because I have the knowledge And, you know, a lot of stuff didn't work for me. So I know what to avoid. And I know that these pieces in particular will make me a beat, right? And if you don't have that knowledge of like these years of information of trying and trial and error, if you don't have that, you are poorer. And that's what you should not avoid, is to get those mistakes. So all this to say that it doesn't matter how I do it or how he does it or what. I mean, it's good to know, it's good to learn and see, oh, that's a nice little technique, but you should follow your own heart. You should follow your instincts. Most of all, follow your instincts, all right? And if I make beats with small little cuts and I know how to place these together, but just by ear, it's because I've been doing it for a long time. All right, I've been doing it for a long time. And my beats at the beginning probably had a lot of problems with tuning, and they still do nowadays. But now I know how to mask them. I know how to get around it because I've been doing it for a long time. Now, if you try to do what I do, maybe if you're seasoned, you can do it. But if you're a beginner, it's going to be really hard for you. But yeah, man, what I really wanted to touch on is that, you know, it doesn't matter how other people do it. It matters what you feel inside of yourself. You should definitely put that first. Like, what do you like? I like to work this way. I like, you know, to me, the beauty or the magic of music is to get a sound that is like this and then chop it this way and then create something. If you have that idea inside of your mind, go for that and then perfect that. Just do that, because that's what I did, and I suppose that's what a lot of us do. We have this idea in the back of our mind and we chase that. I'm not chasing what other producers do or anything, not at all. And this is an interesting thing. Sometimes you hear techniques, sometimes you hear information that you cannot decode. It happened to me when I was starting. Now I look at that information as gold, all right? So there's information at the beginning that you can just not decode. It's because it's too early for you to understand how important certain things are. You feel like, you know, you just can't decode it. Make sure you listen to all the information you get. That's great, but make sure you follow your instincts. Make sure you follow yourself when you're making music. Because if you're not feeling excited about the music, that will show in the end. Because you might want to copy and do certain things, and you might get a nice little copy, but where's the soul, where's the heart in that music? And sometimes that's what the music needs. And that's where you'll find a great song that you've made because you followed your instincts. So it's not about how other people do it, if they use loops, if they use small little cuts, if they start with the drums, if they start by humming, whatever it is. At the end of the day, make great music. And great music comes from the inside. It doesn't come from techniques. It doesn't come from, formulas or anything. It comes from inside you, all right? That's where great music comes from. Once I started putting filters on my main outputs and filtering, I got this nice little sound that I've always wanted. And I never had put a filter before because I was afraid that was an industry standard. And I was like, oh, you shouldn't do this. Don't do this or that. I put reverbs on my outputs. You know, I do a lot of crazy stuff. I put choruses sometimes when I'm sound designing kicks. I put a chorus in there because it does something spatial to the kick that I love. It brightens it up. It makes it more warm and fuzzy. I love it. There's a lot of these things that we're not supposed to do because they feel like mistakes, but you should do them, especially to learn. And you'll know, this sucks. This is great, and learn from that. So be careful with YouTubers, especially the ones that say, don't do this. Do whatever the hell you want, man. Just have fun. Enjoy the process. We are artists. At the end of the day, we create art, even though sometimes it feels like we kind of just following the formula, but the formula can be followed and you can still be creative with it. So go and do that, man. Have fun. You want to make a weird noise with drums on top? Do it. You know, you want to make some lo-fi, crazy sound mixed with punk rock? Do it. Everyone will have their own way that works for them, all right? Whether it is a machine, it doesn't matter if you're using an MPC. I don't care what machine you're using. So just follow your instincts. Have fun. Be excited. You'll feel it in your gut. If you're not feeling it in your gut and if you're not excited, then it's because maybe you should kind of flip the script a little bit, shake things around, make sure you feel excited, make sure it's new every time you're making a beat. That's one of the reasons why I haven't been putting beats out for some months now. It's because I haven't been feeling too excited about making music. But that's okay. These things happen and they will go away. And I'll come back with something new, right? So that was it, man. I hope it inspired you. I hope the conversation wasn't just, something that, to kill time with. I hope it did in some small little sentence change the way you think about making music, especially nowadays because we have so many ways to build music. Tape, digital, samplers, whatever it is, man. Feel free to try anything, all right? Make sure you have fun as well. Peace. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.